everyone, it's your favourite Atomic Blonde here with a little bit of pop chat. Obviously, we've all sort of either heard last night or woken up to the news that James Gunn has announced his Superman and Lois Lane. I think first impressions, I think most people seem to be quite happy with this choice. David, it's either Corn Sweet or Corn Sweat or Corin Sweet, who knows? I'm sure we will find out soon. Is the new Superman. He's definitely got the look for it. I mean, I think what's probably most galling, I would say, to Henry Cavill is that James Gunn has just gone out and picked someone that looks like Henry Cavill, but 10 years younger. I mean, gosh, if you want Henry Cavill, have Henry Cavill and de-age him by 10 years. But hey ho, what can we do? But yeah, he seems like a good fit. I know him from The Politician on Netflix. There's a couple of seasons of that. He kind of played a character that was a very successful college student, you know, sporty, good looking, but was kind of in the closet, and he a very wealthy family, you know, was probably due to go into politics and was kind of being groomed for that kind of thing. And he deletes himself, and the lead sort of character in it, who kind of ends up the politician, if you like. He would help tutoring him in Japanese, I think it was, and they ended up having a bit of a trust, and then he sort of continues to sort of see him in his head over the 2 seasons, and he was very good in it. I really liked him in that. I think he's also been in the American House of Cards, I believe, and Rachel is from The Marvelous Miss Maisel, which I've not watched, but I've heard good things about it. So I think, you know, I don't think anybody's particularly offended by these choices. You know, neither have been race swapped or, you know, people that you just look at and go, wow, that doesn't even look like the source material, Superman and Lois. So, but I think in that sense, I tend to have quite a bit of faith in Gunn. He's much more faithful in that sense. You know, he is a comic book fan. So I think he was always going to go with something quite traditional, which is great. Yeah, I think the only thing I'd say about David is he needs to pack on some timber. He's got the height and the potential build, but he's quite slim, I would say, for Superman. So he's going to be hitting the gym big, probably getting Chris Hemsworth's trainer, I should imagine, to get him up to speed over the next 3 or 4 months or so. Yeah, so we shall see where this ends up. I mean, obviously, we're not going to get a film for a couple of years, but if the initial casting is good, hopefully that will give people a tiny bit of optimism that the film could be good. You know, we still have to wait and see on that one. A lot can happen in the next 2 years. Obviously, I didn't see they're announcing it now, not at Comic-Con, so that would suggest that they're not going along with the rest of the establishment because of the predicted actors strike to go with the writer's strike, because the writer's strike is having no effect whatsoever because nobody cares, because they're crap. It's like 1 or 2 writers you could probably count on one hand that you actually regard as a good writer or has delivered as good television or film over the last, since 2016, basically. So, you know, there's no money, they're asking for more money, and nobody rates what they've been writing. So not the best time to be striking. So I think the actors are sort of coming out in solidarity. But at the end of the day, if there's nothing being written, there's nothing for them to act. So again, do we care? I think most of us spend most of our time watching old programs, sort of pre-2016 programs, films, because the quality is just so bad. I mean, apart from sort of like early Marvel. So do we care that nothing's being made? And I mean, to see what happens at Comic-Con. I mean, you know, it'll effectively be a Comic-Con, and I think the nerds are going to love it. It's going to be back to how it used to be. I think any normies going will be quite, what's this? Because, you know, it doesn't look like that, like, you know, certainly Lucasfilm are not going to be there, Disney are not going to be there, Marvel's not going to be there, looking like DC or Warner Brothers aren't going to be there, Lionsgate aren't going to be it goes on. But you know, you as I say, a lot on this channel, you reap what you sow, and you pee people off so badly. This is what happens, you know. And I think the other reason for this announcement, as hot on the heels, was obviously the absolute bomb of The Flash. I touched on this in my Sunday lunch on Sunday. Go check that out. It was rumored to be about a 70% drop. I think it ended up being a 72% drop. As you see there, The Flash gets unwanted record for DC with the huge second week drop. And obviously, before this film even came out, the director was wanging on about Flash 2, and he'd only make it with Ezra Miller. Well, I think the people have spoken on this one that they do not like and do not want Ezra Miller in their films. And they say they've cancelled it already. Ezra Miller's DCU career is in shambles after the Flash comparison with Marvel's box office disaster. They're talking obviously about direct comparisons with Ant-Man and Wasp and Quantumania, whatever it is, Quantumania. And you know, everybody's sort of saying, oh, it's superhero fatigue, it's superhero fatigue. I think there's an element of that. But I think it's more around just poor quality. We have just had dire film after dire film after dire film, especially for Marvel. I mean, Black Adam and Shazam aren't the best films ever made, but at least they're watchable. Unlike the Marvel, the Eternals, it's just, and like I said, there's still a Celestial coming out of the ocean that nobody cares about or doing anything with, and nothing's connected anymore. You know, I could go, I cover most of this in my Sunday lunch. I won't go over it again, but if I was James Gunn, it's a funny one, because in some ways it's like, well, this isn't my universe, but I would be rubbing my hands together that this absolutely gives him the excuse to get rid of the protected Ezra Miller and go, look, sorry, dude, just didn't perform. There's nowhere for you in my new universe. Jog on, which he can do quite legitimately, I think, without a lot of backlash because of his sexuality. So if I was in that sense, I'd be Gunn going, great, because I think the only thing he sort of said previously was, well, let's see, you know, so there's obviously some pressure. And the way he hit the studios, just keep protecting this guy. But I think this absolutely gives him, you know, permission to get him to jog on, which I think is good news for everybody, because he was an awful Barry Allen. I mean, Grant Gustin, who had terrible material from the CW, still outperformed and outacted Ezra Miller as the Flash. And Grant could actually run. He doesn't run like a constipated duck, you know, or Phoebe out of Friends. It's that kind of, you know, I don't know. I was going to say a word, but I think I probably wouldn't go down too well on YouTube. Rhymes with Raz. It runs like a Raz, you know. Yeah, so interesting times for James Gunn and the DCU. It doesn't bode well for his upcoming slate of films, especially with all the delays. Yeah, but I think if Superman comes out and is a good film and the word of mouth is good, it will do well. I think, especially as well, if the inadvertently all these strikes actually cause a couple of years delay or 2 or 3 years delay in these sort of superhero films coming out, that might just be the breather that people need to sort of recharge and go, oh, we haven't had one for a few years now. Actually, I might go see that Superman. So this could go well for Gunn, but he has to nail the quality. You know, so far the casting looks good. Well, certainly on the 2 that we've seen, and rumors for Lex Luthor are promising. I think it's a shame that he probably views Michael Rosenbaum as a bit too old, but great Lex Luthor. Yeah, we shall see. I guess it's watch this space, but you know, couldn't happen to a nicer chap. And then lastly and sadly, just wanted to say, not really labour on it, but just we had the very sad news that the remains of Julian Sands were finally found. He went missing the day before my birthday, actually, the 13th of January. Obviously, after about a month of him not being found, I think everybody knew the worst, because if he'd had a nasty fall or if he was injured, obviously after a week or so, it was unlikely that he was going to survive anyway. Just very sad, because he again came across as a very genuine, nice guy, typical, a bit British, eccentric, and done some great films over the years. Some not so great films, but yeah, it's always sad to see somebody pass away in those kind of circumstances. And I just think, in one sense, it's the news the family dread, but at least they've got closure. That they know what happened to him. No cause of death has been released as yet, but I'm sure we'll find out in the next sort of week or so. But condolences to his family and his friends. It's just tragic. It's just really, really tragic when something like this happens. And so it always seems to happen to the good people out there. So I'm not aware that he's done anything, I think he was very, very good friends with William Dafoe. He spoke very highly of him. Go check out Warlock. That's a great film, as of its day. Obviously, he was in Room with a View. He was in so many things, sort of carved out his career in Hollywood. And so some of them are a bit questionable. But yeah, just go check out some of his films if you're not aware of his work. But again, very, very sad. But I'm glad his family's got closure, even though I'm sure it's not the news that they wanted. So ending on a little bit of a sad note there, but I just want to call out that shame we've lost a good actor and a good guy, and obviously he's a Brit, so just want to shout that out. So a very quick video, just saying, hey, we have our Superman and Lois. God knows when we're going to get the film with everybody on strike. I don't know if they're even allowed to carry on casting with the strike, because actors allowed to even go to auditions and things, I guess, because that's part of their job. So as I say, they're not allowed to even promote films if they're on strike, hence why unlikely they're going to be at Comic-Con. I mean, James Gunn or the producers, and that could go if they want to promote this more or promote, his universe. I think that would be the smart thing to do, given that Marvel aren't going to be there. I mean, you've just got the floor. I mean, he could talk more through his vision. And I think especially on the heels of how badly the Flash has done, I think he really needs to do some damage limitation on the DC brand right now. It's it's in the toilet. If you can't get, the draw of Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck, I mean, I think they should have just done a Batman film. Let's face it, we all know that. But like I say, if you've got the draw of that, can't get people to go. But to be fair, like as I discussed on Sunday, I was really on the fence about going to see this film. I really did want to support Ezra Miller, and actually, I haven't gone to see it. I mean, yeah, when it comes on streaming, I'll probably watch it, because I am interested to see Michael Keaton. But that wasn't enough for me to go to support Ezra Miller. The same as I am not going to go see Aquaman because the turd's in it. I signed the petition. When you get like 500,000 people saying we don't want to watch this film with her in it, and you ignore it, on your head be it. So that's it. Just a quick pop chat. Just wanted to sort of get my thoughts out there that, yeah, I like the casting. Still gutted for Cavill, even more so that he just literally hired someone that looks just like him but 10 years younger. But let's see. I think gives me a little bit of, okay, let's see where this is going. So you have a great day. I'll be back on Sunday with some Sunday lunch, hopefully. I'm not too hungover. Yeah, bit of a big one on Saturday. So I will tune in just to see if I'm alive. Anyway, have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.